if you need to be a little more persuasive with the vinyl has a memory. It gets kind of stiff sometimes. It doesn't wrap around corners. It doesn't tuck to the baseboard sometimes. This is the Benzomatic TS4000 torch head. Home Depot, about 40 bucks. There are cheaper ones. Don't buy them. This one has got a trigger. It's on with the trigger. It's got a self-start in it. You can buy cheaper ones that you have to light into the lighter. They have an adjustable dial back there. Don't waste your money. 40 bucks. So generally what we'll do, so that you don't scorch the vinyl, is just get a little water in there and just keep the torch moving. And you won't burn the vinyl as long as it's wet. And then it becomes really pliable. It's almost as thin as working with residential paper. And after you get it tucked into or bent around the corner that you're trying to wrap, you hit it again with some cold water and that resets the memory. It's a great, great trick. I use a straight edge for double cutting because the most important thing about the commercial vinyl double cut is that you want the blade to go in perfectly straight, perpendicular to the vinyl. But vinyl like this, it's printed on a white background. If that blade bevels at all, if it bevels the cut, you're going to see the white backing at the seam. So I'll take the blade and just pinch it here and lean on it a little bit and put a curve in the spine. Now what that does, when I'm double cutting, instead of having to push the blade against the side and pinch it and pull it down at the same time, it makes like a little bit of a handle on the blade. So I can push the blade against the straight edge with my forefinger and use my middle finger to just sort of guide the blade down. I find it offers me a lot more control. I don't cut through the vinyl as badly, and I would encourage anybody to come up here and try it. I got a bunch of this stuff pasted up. Hopefully this is shade. See down here I didn't have Steve's bogus strip. It wasn't long enough. It didn't cut as cleanly. Now this stuff, just pull it out, lift up your next sheet, stick it under there. I mean, you could use one piece all around one room. When you're done, roll it back up, throw it in your toolkit. If it gets too scratched up, you just throw it out. I mean, it's not that expensive. Well, if this had shading, let's say that, I mean, this here looks a little bit dark. Most commercial vinyls, I mean, 99% of them have some sort of texture. You're not going to find any vinyl that's as smooth as a Mylar. So what you can do is take a razor blade, not bent, and let's say that this is dark right here. You drag it down like that, and you're just taking a little bit of ink off, okay? And you're revealing the white underneath. I mean, let's see if I can make it shade. Does it get a little bit light? So let's say this was this piece and this was this piece. You can lighten it up a little bit. I mean, I'm being heavy-handed here just for effect, but it is a really, really cool trick. The dark piece.
Could you do it again from this angle?
Sure.
Okay.
The problem he was having, or the problem with the materials in the silk screening, the salvage wanders, and it's not consistent. So he came up with a technique. He was working in a stair hall, so he had 12-foot sheets or more that they were installing. So what he ended up doing was pasting them. I'm going to try to do this pretty quick, but on the job site, Glenn was trying to figure out how to get it booked and folded and table trim it so you could get it down to center in the pattern and not have a problem with having to dry trim it. And even then you have a problem because the pattern wanders. So he came up with this as being the easiest thing, and it's something pretty simple. This one actually turned out pretty good. I should have brought the other sheet. But sometimes when you fold these and the edge of the pattern, edge of the material comes together, you don't get the pattern to line up. And so what he was doing was he was shifting it on the table, and he would overhang it in the front, and he was putting a push pin through the front so it would come through the back and see if it lined up where he wanted it to trim. And then he would shift it to the left or the right so that they would line up on top of one another. And that's what he used to get the pattern to line up square. Does that make sense to everybody?
Great.
And it doesn't want to crease very well. It acts like a mylar. Well, they consider it a vinyl, I think. It's pretty close still. Some of the area didn't stick so well. I don't think it, but it actually hangs really nice. But it has a tendency to pinch maybe out of liner with a grab and set down a little better with full strength. Never use a full strength adhesive, whether you use heavy duty clay or maybe Dynamite 234, or probably even maybe Golden Harvest, the GH34, which has a really good tack to it. But it has a memory. When you take it in the corners, it wants to come out. So. Well, I don't think you need to roll the seams. It'll lay right down.